This is the beautiful Greek island of Skiathos, which has been my summer home for the last 3 years. Come on, I'll show you around. Skiathos is part of what's called the Sporadice Islands, a small cluster of islands located in the Aegean Sea around about 18 miles from Athens. Skiathos itself is the smallest island of the 3 main inhabited islands, around about 9 miles long, but it's the only one that's got an airport. The 3 main Sporadice Islands can also be reached from the Greek mainland via the port of Volos. Skiathos town, located on the south coast of the island, is not just the capital city, but it's the heart and soul of the island. The town is where most of the island's inhabitants live all year round, with a few others scattered around in various resorts along the southern coast of the island. The town very much has a wonderful Greek feel to it, with its beautiful whitewashed buildings and stone cobbled streets. Like many other Greek towns, there's a beautiful maze of little tucked away back streets that you can always get lost in. And if you want to do a little souvenir shopping, Papadiamantis Street, the main street of the town, is where you'll be heading to. This kilometre-long stretch of pedestrian high street has everything from gift and craft shops to clothes shops, as well as a few bars and restaurants interspersed between. Located just off the main street, you'll find the famous house of the man that the street was named after. Alexandros Papadiamantis was one of the most famous Greek writers. He was kind of like a Charles Dickens of his time. Today the house has been converted into a museum in his memory. At the bottom of Papadiamantis Street you'll find the famous Borzoi. For over 400 years the famous castle stood here, defending the city from invaders. Sadly though, in the 18th century the castle was destroyed and the city's town hall was built in its place. Today though, it's just a pleasant place to stroll, soak up the atmosphere and take in the pleasant views over the town. By night, the old harbour comes alive with a bustling hive of restaurants and bars. However, personally I'd rather head up to the end of the new port, where you'll find the more slightly better quality restaurants serving fresh catch of the day. Or for those looking for that real authentic Greek dining experience, you'll want to head up into the old town, where you'll find tables littering quaint little back streets. And if you're really lucky, you may be able to find a few local ski entertainment whilst you're dining. Once you've wined and dined, you'll probably want to head out into Skiathos town to enjoy the city's vibrant nightlife, with bars to simply cater for all tastes. For a quiet drink, I'll head to this place, just on the outskirts of town, overlooking the glorious Bay of Megaliamos. It's my friendly local and just 2 minutes walk from where I live. But for a proper night out, I'll head into the heart of Skiathos town. Saturday night, Skiathos style. The port area is where you'll find the majority of bars, however there are a few little gems tucked away in the city's back streets. Top 3 bars? Well, got to start with Spira. This fairly new bar that only opened up last year, with its great cocktails and great prices, is becoming a more and more popular favourite with many. Next up is Goldfish, with its bustling atmosphere and live DJ sets. You'll be often hard pressed to find an empty table here. But my favourite bar is this place. Totem is a great little rock bar tucked away in the back streets of Skiathos town, with live music from regular house band every night and quirky owner. It really is a fun place for a Saturday night. But from one type of heavy metal, well, to another type of heavy metal. Skiathos Airport is known to aviation enthusiasts around the world as one of the places where you can really get up close and personal with the aircraft. People can be seen every day gathering at the end of the runway in droves to watch and record the planes literally flying metres over their heads as they come into land. Personally though, I like to go and stand up at the bank at the back of the airport, where you can literally stand a few metres away from the exact spot where the planes take off and hit the runway. Skiathos town doesn't actually have a beach, however the next resort of Megaliamos is literally a short walk away from the town. Heading out of town along the south coast, you'll come to all the various holiday resorts. Most will have their own beach, normally with sunbeds to rent and the odd kind of restaurant or bar. The resort beaches in general are nice golden sands with gentle shelving waters. You'll also find the beach is actually linked by the main bus service that runs along the whole south coast, linking all the resorts. You will, however, find the quieter and more secluded beaches on the north coast of the island. Mandrake can be reached by bus and a short 20-minute walk. On the far west tip of the island, though, you'll find the glorious sunset beach of Agios Eleni. However, my favourite beach is the cove of Kekri on the northern coast, with the golden sands, gentle shelving walls and green embankment, and not forgetting the most amazing beach restaurant. It really is a place to escape the crowds. The most famous beach on the island, though, is that of Lalaria. This beautiful whitewashed pebble beach is only accessible by boat and is so stunning it's now a UNESCO protected site. Located next to Lalaria, on the island's most northerly point on a stunning peninsula overlooking the sea, you'll find one of the island's most famous attractions.
Behind me are the ruins of Kastro, the former ancient capital city of Skiathos that dates back to the late 13th century.
The locals at the time built the city on the top of a high clifftop peninsula to protect themselves from marauding invaders. However, they soon came to realise that the location maybe wasn't the best, as it was hard to get supplies up to the cliff, and also the northern winds used to batter the town repeatedly. As quieter times followed, the locals finally decided to return to Skiathos town. Today it's a historic ruin site with a few former renovated churches. The most famous religious site on the island is that of the Evangelistrum Monastery. Built in the late 18th century by a handful of monks, it was then invaded some 20 years after completion by a group of Greek freedom fighters. This rebellious gathering of folk then set about designing a flag for their freedom movement. The blue and white flag they created is now the national flag of Greece. Today the monastery is run by a group of lowly monks, but it really is a place of beauty to explore and escape. However, my favourite monastery is that of Kastro. This beautiful little place tucked away in the mountains with its quaint little chapel really is a thing of beauty. The most famous church in the town, though, is that of St Nicholas. With its iconic clock tower, you may well have recognised it from a fairly recent movie.
This is the famous balcony where they filmed the glorious opening post-box scene from Mamma Mia.
Sadly, the post box is no longer there, but the views over the bay are just as stunning as they appear in the film. The famous balcony overlooks the town's open-air cinema, where they still host the popular Mamma Mia nights. Although the film came out over 10 years ago, these nights are popular as ever and sell out days in advance with those who want to dance in the aisles to the greatest hits of ABBA.
You may also recognise this jetty as well. Yes, it also appeared in the film in the frantic taxi race scene where Colin Firth and Pierce Brosnan raced to catch the boat before it left.
Stroll along the famous jetty and you'll find an abundance of boats offering Mamma Mia cruises to the neighbouring island of Skiathos, where most of the movie was actually filmed. If you don't fancy a boat cruise, it's very easy to hop on board one of the island hopping ferries that run several times a day. The island hopping ferry will take you to one of the main ports, either Glossa or Skiathos town. However, the one place you probably want to get a boat to is the iconic Kastani beach. This stunning cove is where they filmed virtually all of the beach scenes. Sadly, the beach bar and the jetty have now been removed, but what a better way to spend an afternoon laying on Mamma Mia beach. On the northern coast of the island is the little chapel of Agios Eleni that was used for the wedding chapel in the movie. It's also where Meryl Streep bellowed out that ABBA favourite, "The Winner Takes It All." Further down the coast, you'll come to the main Skiathos town. The town, set in a sweeping bay, is divided into two parts, the old and new. The old part really is a thing of beauty, with beautiful whitewashed buildings and stunning views over the bay. The next stop on the island hopping ferries route is that of Alonissos. Although it's the largest of the Sporades Islands, it's actually the least inhabited. This truly is Greek escapism at its finest. A visit to the island is not complete without a jaunt up the mountain to the historic village of Kora. Here you truly feel like you have stepped back in time, walking down stone-cobbled streets past century-old buildings, soaking up the atmosphere. The island is also fortunate enough to be home to one of the largest natural marine parks in the world, so it's a great place for spotting dolphins. One final island worth mentioning is a little place off the southern coast of Skiathos town.
This is Sugria, a small island just off Skiathos, a place so beautiful the Beatles once tried to buy it.
This once inhabited island is now only sadly home to a few lowly stray goats. However, there are signs that this was once home to a small settlement of local people. However, today Sugria is only really frequented by tourists, looking for that quiet bit of beach haven away from the often crowded beaches of Skiathos. For any animal lovers out there, you may want to visit one of the animal shelters, such as the dog shelter here up next to Kastro Monastery. Here you can either help by walking one of their dogs, leaving a donation, or you can even adopt a new four-legged friend. To really see the island of Skiathos in all its glory, you'll want to hire a 4x4 Jeep, as most of the north of the island is completely off-road dirt track. Many of these dirt roads lead to some of the most off-the-beaten-track and quiet little beach coves, although getting to them can somewhat be an adventure in itself. But to truly see the island in all its glory, you'll probably want to join the off-road safari. Here, with local guides, you'll get to truly experience the sights, sounds and smells that has made this a real Greek paradise, which is probably why thousands upon thousands of Brits descend on its golden shores every summer, looking for that little piece of Mediterranean escapism.
Now sadly it's the end of September and the season is drawing to a close. So, Skiathos, this is me signing out for 2020. See you next year.